All Things Wicked introduced one of the most unique and horrifying original characters Dead by Daylight has ever had, the Unknown. From the moment the teaser started, players were immediately hooked. Immediately, people were asking questions. Can it mimic voices? Can it shapeshift? Is this finally our shapeshifting survivor killer? Yes, kind of, no. So what is this thing then? It's unknown. But maybe by taking a deep dive into the lore, cosmetics, and speculating, we can make the unknown known. And it would really help if you guys could subscribe. That really helps me. It supports my videos. If you leave a like as well, comment what you liked about this video. I do a lot of research heavy videos like this. I do Titanfall, I do Dead by Daylight. This is actually my first Dead by Daylight video. I also live stream on Twitch, which my link is actually going to be down below in the description and in the YouTube comment section. We're also going to have the Discord. So if you want to hang out with me, if you want to talk to me, maybe play some games together, we also just chat and like to have fun. And then you should definitely join the Discord. You also get updates about all my streams and all my videos. So you should definitely subscribe and join my Discord and go follow my Twitch. I'm sorry, that's a lot to ask. However, before we do take this deep dive into the unknown, I want to take a moment to recognize the voice actor who brought this character to life so brilliantly. Zoe Alexandria was a voice actor behind both the male and female voices for the Unknown. Tragically, however, she lost her life battling a rare autoimmune disorder on April 30th. She was a very talented and brave individual. Her performance in Dead by Daylight is a standout one. In my opinion, it's probably one of the best voice acting performances in a long time. And her talent won't be forgotten, nor will she, and I don't think the Unknown will be the character that everybody loves today without her. Greenville was a small and mostly uneventful town in South Carolina. However, the town had an abnormal amount of missing person cases. Many of the Greenville citizens had their own theories ranging from the rational to the, well, irrational. Maybe they just got lost in the woods. Maybe they got involved in something they shouldn't have. Maybe they ran away. Maybe there was some psycho out in the woods. Maybe Greenville was a hotspot for UFOs. Maybe the government was abducting people for experiments. Maybe. That's all anyone had, just maybes. When someone disappeared, they went missing without a trace. Maybe it was none of those explanations. Maybe it was all of them. Maybe something was out there, waiting, watching, lurking. But for most people, it didn't bother them. While the town was relatively small, it wasn't that small. Every town had missing persons. The police and detectives will figure it out someday. It doesn't affect them. They still had work in the morning. Best not to waste time on maybes. However, for one university student, it did matter. Olivia wasn't even from Greenville, but had to write a master thesis on urban legends. She could have done Bloody Mary, but everyone knew that one. Maybe one about a Ouija boards or some sort of midnight ritual. Nah, the other students probably had those ones covered. But Greenville? Nobody was writing their thesis on Greenville. Olivia had nothing planned on that spring break either, so she planned a road trip to South Carolina. A string of missing persons cases previous to Olivia's arrival had really sparked her interest in this daunting urban legend, the first of which was two girls working alone late one night at the local diner. I was on garbage duty. One of the boys usually offered to take care of it, but I was closing the diner alone with my friend Ashley. The cook had left an hour ago, and this was one of the last tasks we needed to take care of before we could head home. "I'm going to grab a smoke and ask Tyler to pick me up," Ashley said. "I'll be back in a second to finish mopping." "It's fine. I'll do it when I'm done with the garbage. It'll only take a minute." She smiled and walked through the back door. I wasn't trying to be nice. I just wanted to leave as soon as possible. The diner was at the edge of town and surrounded by forest. I dreaded staying around after dark. I always felt watching eyes whenever I walked to my car. I slung the bags over my shoulders and headed towards the back door. The dumpster was behind the diner, next to a picnic table where some of their staff sometimes took their break. I was surprised to see Ashley wasn't there, but she sometimes paced around the diner when she was on a call. I tossed a sticky garbage bag and wiped my hands with disgust. I hated garbage duty. I was about to head back inside when I noticed something glowing at my feet. Ashley's phone. I looked around nervously. Ashley wasn't known for pranks. I picked it up and took my own phone from my back pocket. I wasn't sure what to do or who to call. I didn't have to. A voice called out from the darkness. Ashley's voice. "Ashley, this isn't funny," I said. I stepped into the forest. I didn't know how she had managed to navigate the trail in the dark. I had to turn on the flashlight to be able to see 2 feet in front of me. I let her voice guide me, but I still couldn't make out what she was saying. She sounded distant, distorted. "I want to go home," I insisted. "Please, can we go back to the diner now?" She either didn't hear me or pretended not to. I could tell I was close when I caught a glimpse of blonde hair in the distance. "Hello, Tyler," she said, her voice hoarse and strained. "Is Tyler with you?" I asked, pointing the light ahead. I could see 2 figures, one of them shorter, leaned against the trunk of a tree while the other, taller, stood a little to the side. The first one must have been Ashley, but the second one looked wrong. Twisted. The torso and the legs seemed to be facing different directions, as if they could have walked towards me without ever taking their eyes off Ashley. "I have your phone," I added. "Hello, Tyler," she said again, but I could now see her lips never moved. Something didn't feel right.
It's me,
she started.
Can you pick me up?
She tried, hesitant.
Me up. Pick me up? Tyler, it's me. Hello?
I caught a glimpse of something in the light. It looked like teeth. Too many to count. A phone rang. Not mine, but Ashley's. Tyler was calling. The tall figure shifted, and then it spoke. Its disembodied voice sounded almost exactly like my own. Home, it said. Please. I ran without looking back, branches tearing at my skin, slicing my arms and cheeks. I reached the diner and threw myself inside. Locking the back door behind me, I waited for a thump, a crash against the door, but it never came. I stood there for a while, still clutching Ashley's phone, and before gathering enough courage to sprint to my car. It's 3 in the morning, and I don't know what to do. Tyler keeps calling Ashley's phone, but I don't know what I would tell him. I want to believe this is a cruel prank, but I can still hear it now, floating softly through my window. A voice, haunting and familiar, so close to my own. Please, it begs. I want to go home. Soon after, the second unnamed girl had gone missing, but that wasn't the end of the mysterious happenings around town. A homeowner had posted to her local neighborhood Facebook page that she was hearing strange noises at night and wanted to know if anyone else was hearing anything similar.
Hey neighbors, did anyone see or hear anything strange in the area last night? I got woken up at around 2:30 a.m. today by what sounded like someone rummaging around in my backyard, so I opened the porch light to see what it was, but I couldn't see anything at all. I got dressed and walked out to my deck to get a closer look, but all I could make out was this weird buzzing noise and what I thought was maybe whispering. As you know, our house was one of those that got egged a few months ago by some kids from Greenville High, so immediately I thought this was another one of their dumb pranks. I pulled out my phone to record and started walking towards the noise, hoping I'd catch them red-handed, but I found nothing. I couldn't tell where the sounds were coming from, so I went back inside. I obviously can't sleep now, so I'm listening to what I recorded, see attached, and I have to say, I'm really creeped out. Does this sound familiar to anyone?
This was the last post that the homeowner ever made, as only a few nights later, a missing persons case was filed. Residents were reminded of an event 10 years ago where a high school cheerleader went missing. Recently, there was a playoff game for the same high school's football team. Spectators thought they saw a cheerleader hanging on the outskirts of the shadows, just past where the light met dark. This was the last night the star quarterback was ever seen, putting Greenville on edge. Soon after that, police were called to look for another individual by the name of Lisa. Pizza tonight?
Sounds good.
I'll pick it up on my way home.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too. Everything okay at home?
Yeah, just cleaning up. What's up?
Got a notification from the security system. Saw something weird on the feed. Can you check the back door?
Weird. What does it look like?
Just a blur in front of the camera. It's too close to tell what it is.
Raccoons, maybe?
Maybe, but it had to be pretty tall. Camera's at eye level.
Just checked. Nothing's there. Door's locked too.
Okay, thank you. We'll keep an eye on the little rascals.
We should start leaving the garbage in the garage.
Yeah, you're right.
Working late?
Yeah, sorry. Should have texted. Almost done. Everything okay?
The neighbor's dog won't stop barking.
Again? Third night in a row.
I don't know what to do. I rang the neighbors. No one's home. The dog stopped barking, but he's whining now. It sounds wrong.
I'll be there soon. Wrapping up.
I hope he's okay. Love you.
Love you too. Hey, something's in the backyard again. It's too dark to see what it is.
That was probably me. Stepped out 5 minutes ago. I thought I heard the neighbors. Wanted to check on the dog.
Maybe stay inside.
Okay, it wasn't them anyways. Love you.
Love you too. Pepperoni? I'll just grab 2 different ones. We'll have leftovers. Got the pizzas. Almost there. Lisa? Where did you go? After Lisa's disappearance, a local college student named Ryan would seem to have a mental break after witnessing something in the woods. Important. About Ryan. Hello, Miss Allen. I'm Ryan's roommate, Danny. I think we briefly saw each other during orientation week. Ryan mentioned where you worked a while back and I found your email address on the company's website. I think something is wrong with Ryan. It started today. Ryan was excited to try a new trail on his daily run and said he'd meet me in the dining hall for breakfast after. He never showed up. I found him in our room after my first class of the day. He was scribbling at his desk. He was still there when I came back, hours later, sitting in the dark, still scribbling. He snapped out of a trance when I called his name and said he lost track of time. He seemed normal over dinner. When I asked about his day, he said he'd been busy studying. When we got back to our room, he left to take a shower and I got curious. I wanted to know what he was working on, so I waited until he was in the shower and looked at his desk. You'll find a picture attached to this email, but there were dozens of them, under his bed, crammed between the mattress and the slats, hidden behind the blinds, littering the floor in his closet. I even found a single piece of paper under my pillow. I pretended like nothing happened, but shortly after we went to bed, I heard it again. The scratching of a pencil against paper, he'd started scribbling again. He's spiraling and I don't think I can handle this on my own. I reached out to our resident assistant, but they can't do anything until something happens. I don't want to wait for that. Could you come and check on him? Thanks. Around the same time, a blonde, middle-aged woman would see something at the end of the parking lot while grocery shopping that caused her to scream and drop her groceries. This was the last time the woman was ever seen. Sean was another local who was familiar with the woods of Greenville and would often go camping, but this weekend was different. Sean would never be seen again.
Guys, I just found something really disturbing on Sean's phone and I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. He went camping with his friends this weekend. I went to pick him up this morning, but after an hour of waiting around, he still wasn't there. I keep texting and calling him and he wasn't answering, so eventually I got fed up and just started walking up the trail to try and find him. I didn't find him, but I found his phone and a flashlight by the path.
What the fuck?
I was freaking out. I'm sorry, I'm shaking so much right now. Typing is rough.
Are you okay? Please just run to your car. I can come leave work. I'll come get you.
I went to check his phone to see if I could find info there about where he might be or what might have happened. When I unlocked it, the camera roll was open. What do I do?
Are you in the car? Go right now. Lock the doors. I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm on my way. That following week, another homeowner would report seeing something strange on their security system. Motion detected. Front yard. Motion detected. Front yard. Motion detected. Front yard. Loud sound detected. Back door open. Finally, another camper would go missing. The only evidence left behind was a torn up tent and his phone, which contained this video.
I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's something pacing around my tent.
After digging and seeing all the strange reports, missing person cases, and horrifying encounters, Olivia would venture to Greenville to figure out the real truth behind these disappearances. Olivia's master thesis was on urban legends and their origins. She believed they shared similarities with traditional folklore and picked one to illustrate her point. The unknown was believed to be a mysterious evil, so heinous that investigating it almost immediately invited death. At least, that's how the story went, and there were many stories. One story was a woman in Greenville who disappeared without a trace on stage in front of a room full of witnesses. Her friend disappeared weeks later while trying to investigate what happened. The police were stumped. They had no clues or leads, and that mystery created the perfect storm for amplifying and spreading an urban legend. Instead of going back home for spring break, Olivia headed to Greenville to investigate. She drove to the second cheapest motel in town and began to set up in a small room that smelled of cigarette smoke, mold, and booze. She turned one wall into a kind of evidence board. She taped up articles and various theories on similar disappearances attributed to the unknown throughout the country. She made connections with red string and yellow thumbtacks. Anyone walking into the motel room would think that she had lost her mind. There were many other theories as to the unknown's origins. Some said it was a malevolent entity conjured long ago by an ancient cult. Others believed that it was an alien that escaped from Area 51. Legend was it thrived in darkness and stole the voices of those it consumed so as to lure others to their doom. The first newspaper article Olivia found referenced a disappearance at a seance held in the 1800s. In the late 1950s, several college students mysteriously disappeared from a movie theater. Witnesses saw them go inside. Some remembered seeing them in their seats, but when the lights came up, they were gone. No one saw them leave. No trace of them was ever found. A projectionist claimed to have heard voices in the empty darkness of the theater later that night, but when he turned on the lights, no one was there. Then in the 1960s, a group of teens disappeared while exploring an abandoned hospital believed to be haunted. Stories and speculation arose to explain these mystifying disappearances. Some talked about a top-secret government research program run by the Office of Strategic Services in the 1950s. Project Apple Pie, mind control experiments using hallucinogenic drugs. Most of the records were destroyed in the 70s, but witnesses claim that experiments were performed on unsuspecting civilians in various settings and locations throughout the country, including movie theaters, hospitals, and universities. Many believe these unethical experiments opened doorways to other dimensions which allowed evil things to enter the world. Olivia wrote observations to pin to her evidence board. The unknown dwells in darkness and can mimic its victims' voices. Was it an evil entity, an extraterrestrial, a failed government experiment, or just a garden variety serial killer allergic to publicity? She wanted to prove that the unknown was nothing more than modern day folklore, and that investigation led here, to this night, to this place, to this shabby motel room. Yet she couldn't help but notice that disappearances in Greenville included one detail that the other stories didn't: the fog. And she half remembered another urban legend with a thick, unnatural fog that somehow made people disappear. Maybe, she mused, the Greenville disappearances didn't relate to the unknown, but some other darkness. For a moment, Olivia wondered what would happen if one urban legend encountered another. She laughed at the idea and tempted fate by sketching a picture of what she thought the unknown might look like. Then she pinned the sketch right in the middle of her evidence board, laughed nervously, and waited to be consumed by the unknown for having tried to define it. Anxiously, she stared at the windows and front doors for seconds that turned into minutes, and minutes that turned into hours. But nothing happened. Now it was after 2 a.m., and Olivia was exhausted as she examined the articles and sipped cold coffee. So when she first heard the whisper, she wondered if she imagined it. Olivia. It seemed to come from the bathroom. Help. The light in the room flickered. Who's there? Olivia stared with wide eyes at the closed door of the bathroom. Her mind was playing tricks on her, or her friends had shown up to prank her. Ariella, Sean, stop messing around. The lights continued to flicker as she edged closer to the bathroom. Fear spread in long waves through her, and a terrible realization bloomed within her that the unknown was behind that bathroom door, was preparing to make her pay for her hubris. Something began to whisper her name again, but then the voice rose, cracked, and distorted in sudden panic as if the brooding creature behind the door were under attack. An unknown horror filled Olivia's heart and left room for nothing else. She breathed deeply as cold sweat beaded on her forehead. She placed her hand on the doorknob. The lights turned off, but she could still hear the strangely inhuman cries. Then the lights turned back on, and she could see a strange black fog seeping through the bottom of the door. Hesitantly, Olivia creaked the door open to see a bulky shape with frenzied tentacles being pulled into the thick mass of fog, vanishing slowly in the darkness like a dying shadow. The shrieking stopped suddenly. Neighbors banged on the wall to turn down the TV, and Olivia stared intently at the black abyss that yawned before her. She wasn't sure what to do. Part of her wanted to run, but the other part wanted to know more. And as she considered what to do next, dozens of voices began to call out to her with promises of the unknown and the impossible and of unearthly things beyond human experience. Olivia was seemingly saved by the entity, but this won't be the last we see of her. There are always bigger fish, and Olivia's hunger for the truth will push her to uncovering the mysteries of the entity. The unknown is a malevolent entity who seems to have almost omniscient powers, as proven by Olivia when she went hunting for the creature. The unknown was believed to be a mysterious evil so heinous that investigating it almost immediately invited death, which obviously turned out to be true as it tried to attack Olivia from within her hotel's bathroom, tracking her down, somehow gaining access to her room, then waiting to ambush her. This also shows that the unknown is capable of intelligent thought. It can plot, plan an attack, and lure its victims using voices it steals from previous targets. When its victim is within range, it seems to slurp some form of essence or energy from them. This essence is presumably what allows the unknown to mimic voices and take the vague form of the slurped. The unknown is also seen to be capable of teleportation, both in-game and presumably in Olivia's encounter with it. In-game, the unknown will cause survivors to hallucinate it. The survivors can dispel these hallucinations with relative ease. However, the unknown can teleport to these hallucinations, showing that the unknown has some sort of psychic powers. Finally, the unknown can also gloop people with its gloop cannon. Extending some sort of tentacle from its chest, the unknown can expel a slime-like projectile at survivors to do damage. After going down the list of its known abilities, we can throw a few theories out there as to what the unknown actually is. Is the unknown an extraterrestrial? The primary evidence for this theory is the alien-like tentacle it uses to slurp and attack victims with. However, I don't think the unknown is an alien from outer space. While I suppose anything is possible when it comes down to an unknown being from space, The psychic and omniscient abilities the unknown is shown to possess seem to be far more supernatural. Could the unknown be a failed government experiment? For the same reasons I don't think the unknown is alien, I also believe the unknown is not man-made. Could the unknown be a demon or some sort of spirit? While I did say the unknown's abilities seem to lean towards supernatural, I don't believe it to be a ghost or demon either. The unknown seems to have no religious ties, meaning it's unlikely to be a demon, and the unknown appears to be too real to be a ghost. What I mean by this is that it uses physical attacks to slurp its victims up. It even wields an axe within the trials. On top of that, the unknown can't pass through floors or walls like a spirit normally could. However, it can teleport, but I do not put that in the same ability set as a ghost. So what is the unknown? I have two answers for you. My personal belief is that it's some sort of being similar to the entity or dredge. It doesn't come from Earth, it comes from a dark place. It's not bound by our dimension's rules or logic. Similar to the entity, it's an eldritch horror. However, it's probably not even the same ecosystem as the entity. If the entity is a lion in the jungle, the unknown is a bug. So inconsequential to the entity that while they might come from the same place or live near each other, the bug has no effect on the lion. Maybe there are more like the unknown, or maybe it's the only one of its kind. All of that being said, the best answer to the question we've been trying to wrap our head around since the unknown first came to the realm is that it's an amalgamation of different rumors, legends, and horror stories. It has alien-like qualities, supernatural abilities, monster-like tendencies. The unknown is the physical embodiment of an urban legend. It's all of those things. It's a monster, it's an alien, a ghost, a demon, a failed experiment. It's what goes bump in the night. It's what makes people disappear without a trace. If you like this video, you should definitely subscribe for more. This is probably the longest video I've ever made, and I'm really not excited to edit this. So you should definitely throw me a bone and subscribe for all my hard work if you like this type of video. I'm going to try and do more. I've got a few more ideas cooking in here, a few more Dead by Daylight videos, a few more Titanfall videos. So you should definitely subscribe. And like I said, you should definitely come out to one of my live streams. Twitch link down below or in the comments. And you should also join my Discord. Let me know in the comments what you think the unknown is. Let me know what you thought of the video. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe for more, like I said. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.